Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're shifting gears a bit.
Yeah, definitely something different.
No huge reports or, dense history this time. We're actually diving into the world of picture books.
But for adults, which is the interesting part.
Exactly. We're focusing on two books from Linn Knight's series, Soothing Stories for Grown-Up Hearts. They're called When I Know My Worth and When I Remember.
And we've got some insights from her website too, right?
Yeah,
And some early Goodreads thoughts.
we do. So the plan is to really understand how these books are using, well, storytelling and mindfulness
Sure.
to support emotional well-being for adults.
It's a fascinating idea using that picture book format.
It really is. It feels immediately less daunting, maybe.
Yeah, it kind of lowers your guard, doesn't it? Makes these big emotional topics feel more accessible somehow.
Spot on. Okay, so let's look at When I Know My Worth first.
Yeah.
This one has these really lovely, whimsical illustrations, and its aim is pretty clear. Help adults and older teens, too, connect with their inherent value.
Right, that sense of inner worth.
Yeah, finding that spark, celebrating your unique gifts, just knowing you have worth intrinsically.
And how does it do that? Just through the story.
Well, the story, but also these visual metaphors.
Yeah.
It mentions using animals like a majestic stag for assurance
Oh, interesting.
and a playful river otter to represent self-care. That helps visualize the emotions.
That makes a lot of sense. Using animals, it bypasses the analytical brain, maybe. Go straight to a feeling.
That's what it feels like.
Like the stag's quiet strength or the otter sort of playful and nurturing. It's a quick way to connect with assurance or self-care. Clever.
It is. Now, the other book, When I Remember.
Right, this one tackles grief.
Yeah, grief and healing.
Yeah.
It's designed to guide readers through that really tough experience of loss.
Which is such a difficult thing to capture.
It is. It encourages acknowledging feelings, reflecting on them, and importantly, realizing you're not alone in it.
How does it frame that journey?
It uses this metaphor of a journey across the sea of grief,
Ah, the sea. That's powerful.
right? From those big crashing waves of sorrow initially, moving towards like gentler ripples of self-compassion.
That really resonates. Grief does feel like being lost at sea sometimes, those unpredictable waves.
Exactly.
And framing it as moving towards ripples, not necessarily sunshine and rainbows immediately, but calmer waters.
Yeah.
That feels realistic. It's about navigation with self-compassion.
Yeah, precisely. And both these books, they're part of this bigger series, Soothing Stories for Grown-Up Hearts.
Okay, so there's a whole concept behind it.
Yes, the author's website says the series aims to be empowering, encouraging, comforting. Picture books blending mindfulness and personal growth for adults and older teens.
Using stories and visuals for self-discovery.
Right. And the author, Linn Knight, she seems to have the right background.
What's her background?
She's a parenting educator and also a certified mindfulness and meditation guide.
Ah, okay. So it's grounded in actual practice.
Seems like it.
Mm-hmm.
Draws on science-based therapeutic strategies, and her work's been featured in various places, so it seems to be connecting.
That adds credibility, doesn't it? It suggests these aren't just nice stories, but they have some, psychological underpinning.
I think so. And looking at both books, you see common threads.
Like what?
Well, the beautiful illustrations, obviously. Readers really mention those.
Right, the visual element.
And they both explicitly say they offer, like, science-based tools for emotional well-being, for growth.
Okay, so practical takeaways too.
Yes, and the format itself, the picture book for adults, making complex stuff feel, well, less complex, more approachable.
And you mentioned proactive strategies. They actually give you things to do.
It seems so, yeah. They appear designed to engage the reader actively, not just passively read.
That's key, isn't it? That synergy between the story and actual techniques you can use, that feels like where the real impact could be.
Absolutely. So we've got a feel for the individual books and the series idea. Let's maybe crystallize some key takeaways.
Good idea. Let's circle back to When I Know My Worth.
Okay, so the descriptions, Goodreads reviews, they highlight this inspiring story about self-worth, about confidence.
Makes sense.
But what's really interesting, and you picked up on this, is the mention of specific tools, actual techniques at the end.
Ah, like what kind of things?
Things like positive affirmations.
Okay, standard CBT type stuff.
Yeah, challenging those negative thoughts. Keeping a compliment jar, which is kind of sweet.
I like that. A visual reminder.
Sharing your wins, practicing gratitude, deliberately embracing joy. Reviewers mention these 5 tools specifically.
So very actionable things people can try immediately.
Exactly. It's positioned as helpful for self-esteem, personal development, working towards goals.
And it also encourages challenging limiting beliefs, right?
Okay.
And connecting with your inner child.
It does, yeah. That idea of getting back to a more self-accepting viewpoint, maybe before life layered on all the self-criticism.
That inner child connection is powerful, turning those abstract ideas of self-worth into tangible practices like affirmations or a compliment jar. That makes it a real tool, not just a story.
Yeah.
Definitely. Okay, then, when I remember,
The grief book.
yeah, key takeaways there are, well, the heartfelt story about grief and healing, obviously.
A companion through that process.
Right. And again, the emphasis on psychologically informed tools. Things like challenging negative self-talk.
Crucial in grief when thoughts can get very dark.
Absolutely. And practicing mindfulness. Just being present with the feelings without judgment.
Which is hard, but so important. Not fighting the waves, just noticing them.
And cultivating self-love, self-compassion, which, is vital when you're feeling vulnerable.
Definitely. Having practical strategies for those really tough moments in grief, that could be incredibly valuable. The self-compassion piece feels central.
And the illustrations are mentioned, again, providing comfort this time. It's seen as a supportive companion for bereavement.
That makes total sense.
So looking at the series overall, what really stands out is this unique approach, right?
Yeah, the picture book format for these deep adult themes.
It is unusual. People reviewing them use words like whimsical, comforting.
Like a children's book for grown-ups.
Or an adult book for your inner child, yeah. That comes up a lot. It seems to disarm people, makes it easier to engage without feeling overwhelmed.
That juxtaposition is clever. Simple format, profound content.
And readers seem to really appreciate those practical, science-backed tools included, especially in When I Know My Worth.
Having something concrete to hold on to makes a difference.
And we should mention the author's background again. Linn Knight being a parenting educator and mindfulness coach.
Right, it adds that layer of expertise.
It suggests these books are coming from an informed place,
Right.
grounded in principles of well-being.
Yeah, you get the sense it's thoughtfully constructed, not just, a nice idea. Her credentials lend weight to it.
Definitely. So wrapping up this deep dive, it really makes you think, doesn't it?
About the power of simple stories.
Yeah, and visual metaphors. Could this kind of approach offer maybe a gentler path for you, the listener, to explore your own feelings?
Whether that's building self-worth or navigating something really tough like grief.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Maybe even just revisiting the kinds of stories that resonated with you as a kid could unlock some unexpected insights now as an adult.
That's an interesting thought to leave people with, that connection between childhood stories and adult emotional landscapes. Definitely something to ponder.